Welcome back to Meducation Nation. As always, I have another banger of a video for you guys today. It's the much anticipated part 2 to writing the perfect medicine personal statement. Now in part 1, I talked about the key ideas and content that you guys should think about including in your personal statements. And now in part 2, we're going to be talking about how you can organize these ideas and structure them in such a way that you can make the most out of your points and your personal statement has a nice flow to it. So in terms of the structure of this video, we're going to be taking it section by section. So I've grouped it into 4 sections. However, it is not one size fits all, so this may not be for everyone. Section 1 as follows is all about intro and why medicine. Section 2 is work experience, voluntary and community work. Section 3 is other achievements, experiences and interests, research, literature. Section 4 is closing statement. Obviously, I'll be going into more detail on each of these sections. Timestamps on screen now. Cue that intro and let's go. So the introduction aspect of your personal statement, you want to be pinpointing the reasons for why you want to study medicine. Now the general formula for tackling this is number 1, people talk about their insight into the career, be it from any personal experiences, the fact that their family members are doctors, or from their work experience. And you want to pinpoint the specific parts of those experiences that informed your decision the most, as that is where your introduction is going to become unique and not cliched. So once you've done that, the next thing that people tend to talk about is their sort of passion for science, the fact that they want to have an impact on the lives of others, desire to help people, etc., etc. You know, really write your genuine reasons for why you want to study medicine. One thing I do want to warn you guys about is don't just make up an experience for the sake of it. It's not genuine and that will actually backfire. So section 2 is all about your work experience, any volunteering, any community work that you've done, or indeed any first aid training. So this is going to make up the large majority of your personal statement. And the key thing with this section is you really want to make sure that you are reflecting on these experiences to bring the most out of them. So what did you do? How have you taken that learning forward? A key thing to get you guys really reflecting on your experiences is a technique I call the STAR technique. What was the situation? What was the task? What was the action? What was the result? And what was the reflection? So that can really get you in the habit of reflecting on your experiences. Now, some key things that you might want to talk about in these sections are highlighting, the importance of multidisciplinary teamwork, keeping calm under pressure, manual dexterity, focus, communication skills. If you are in a GP, the importance of building a rapport with patients, the importance of patience, and the importance of understanding, empathy. If you talk to patients, what did you learn? How do patients feel in hospitals? As well as, did doctors differ their approaches when talking to different patients, i.e. different ages or different temperaments? Another thing that you could really mention in these sections is the importance of holistic medicine, i.e. treating patients as individuals, treating the patients, working in partnership with the patients, not just treating the disease. So now, moving away from these general points that you may or may not want to discuss in section 2, another key thing that you should do in section 2 is really bring out the fact that you have a realistic understanding of both the positives and negative aspects of medicine. So when we talk about the negative aspects of medicine, these could include things like the fact that you have to deliver bad news. How does that impact the patient's family, or the doctor delivering the bad news, just as an idea? Another thing is the fact that some diseases are simply untreatable. Palliative care is a big part of being a doctor. The emotional, the physical strains that come with the work demand, but also the emotional toll of things like delivering the bad news and palliative care. But also, for instance, GPs, it's not all about treating patients. There's a big admin side to medicine, be it the operational side of running a GP practice, for instance. So there are a number of negatives that you guys could bring out. Obviously, don't list a load of negatives. Just bring out one or two just to show that you have a realistic understanding, the fact that medicine is not all positives, and that really highlights a bit of maturity, and they would really respect that. So now another thing that you may want to do in section 2 is really bring out key skills that you've developed through your experiences that are going to stand you in good stead for being a good doctor. Things like communication, teamwork, leadership, organizational skills, perseverance, resilience, initiative, problem solving, community service, self-discipline. The list goes on. So another key thing that you guys may want to include in this sort of section 2 aspect of the personal statement is any medicine awareness activities, i.e. any books you've read, any journals, any conferences, courses, EP.2, any research projects that you've done, anything that you've done that may have piqued your interest in, studying medicine. So now moving on from section 2, section 3 is all about any sort of other experiences, hobbies, interests, achievements that you have. Now here you can again bring out any personal attributes that you've developed from these experiences that are going to allow you or stand you in good stead in terms of becoming a good doctor. But also it's important to show this because it shows things like ambition, drive, the fact that you have the ability to have long-term ongoing commitments, as well as a work-life balance, which obviously is very, very key when going into a career like medicine. So this is why this section, although it doesn't have to be very lengthy, it is very important and shouldn't just be glossed over. Popular things that normally do come up in this section are things like any charity or religious activities, any tech projects, D&V, young enterprise, any travel, any non-medical work experience. So these are just some ideas if you're struggling to get the ball rolling in terms of this section. A word of warning here is I would recommend that you focus on achievements as opposed to hobbies. So now section 4 is your closing statement. Now your introduction and conclusions, these are arguably one of the most important paragraphs in terms of grabbing your reader's attention. You really want to make sure that the intro and the final paragraph is really good, because generally if the first and last paragraphs are really good, the rest of the personal statement is really good, and that is the mindset of an admissions tutor. So you want to make it long lasting, impactful, and you really want to make it unique. So things that can help you achieve this in your closing statement, maybe write a few lines about what medicine is to you, why you think you can be a good and successful doctor and thrive in a career like medicine, and also really get across your enthusiasm and aptitude for a career in medicine in the final paragraph. Again, your intro and your conclusions, you don't want them to be lengthy, you want them to be short, sharp, and punchy. Now, some final tips that I want to be giving you guys for roundabout now is really start to hone and refine your personal statement drafts into something that resembles the sort of final form in the appropriate writing style. And once you have the final sort of draft, then give it to as many people as possible, your friends, your family, any teachers, any medical students that you know, to get as many different opinions as possible, because once you read something 100 times over, you're really going to struggle for new ideas and changing things up. So really get an idea of what other people are saying feedback-wise. You don't have to take it all on board, of course, but it is just useful to hear what other people have to say. Thank you very much for tuning into another banger of a video. It's the return of the educational content here on Tomorrow's Medics YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video. I remember personal statement writing being extremely stressful, especially as it's just on the UCAT and the BMATs coming up. So hopefully this helps clear up the process, makes it a little bit easier for you guys. Best of luck with your applications. Tomorrow's Medic over and out. Cheers.